Welcome, welcome everyone to the 91st edition of the Home Theater Hub. As you can see, we have a packed house today, and I am super excited to have these guests on. Not only am I excited to have them on, but I'm also excited to go to my first ever CEDIA coming up. I'll be flying out on Wednesday, and it'll be my first time attending. So just want to go around the room. If you guys would introduce yourself, we'll start off with Rob. How are you, sir?
I'm good. My name is Robert Goldman. I'm one of the co-owners of Next Level Acoustics.
Well, welcome back, Rob. Welcome back. You've been on the show. You've been gracious enough to join our show. This will be the second time, so we really appreciate you coming back. And then we got Mr. Chuck.
Hey everybody, I'm Chuck Back, Managing Director of Trinov Audio here in the U.S. and involved in system design and installations, remote calibrations, all kinds of support to our customers.
Thank you, Chuck. First time on the show, really appreciate it. And we got Rigo. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How are you guys? Everything good?
Everything's great, man.
Good.
Peachy King, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm Rigo from SpeakerPower, General Manager and slash designer of these new amps we're showcasing at SR11. So, yeah.
Very nice. Thank you for joining us. And Mr. Seymour, how are you, sir?
Hey, good evening. I brought my refreshment for the evening.
Well,
as well.
Cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you.
Cheers to everyone. Cheers for sure. Speaking of that,
So we got Mr. Chris from Seymour Excellent Screens. So appreciate you. And then we got Paul as usual.
Yeah,
joining in on the
ale.
A Sequence Ale, which actually this company was bought, I believe, by Sam Adams, and they have one of the best intros to sour beers. If you never had a sour beer, if you don't like this, you're not gonna like sour beers.
Okay.
Not too sour, but the sour. So it's good.
Well, these guys are all going to be attending CEDIA, and there's a reason why they're all together here is because they're going to be putting on a show in Sound Room 11. So, Rob, tell us a little bit about the room dimensions and what we're looking to feature there.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's kind of like a who's who in the industry in terms of the overall room. So the room itself is 24 deep by about 16 wide. I'm not going to spoil, the kind of the secret sauce. We'll let the individual manufacturers talk about it. But the lead sponsor is Jim from Lumagen. He should be joining shortly.
Yep.
So we've got everything. It's kind of like a whole package. And what you'll kind of hear is that we really wanted to go after that price performance ratio kind of across the board and show something that was a little more obtainable in terms of just overall performance, from the screen through processing, amplification, speakers, and so on and so forth. So I think that Jim has done a great job in kind of bringing in different partners to kind of fit different needs in the booth, and we're really excited to be part of it.
That's awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate all of you guys joining us today. So one thing that we do is we just talk about our week that we've had. I know you guys are new to the show. We just talk about what have we done in our theaters, and if you do have a theater at the home, maybe talk about your home theater. So Ike, how was your week, sir?
It was good. Busy week. Not much happened in the home theater. I did watch a movie, and I'm trying to take a look at my phone to even remember the name. So
that's bad, isn't it?
That's bad.
I do that all the time. I'm like,
it was a good movie, though.
I don't remember any of them.
It was a good movie from 2018. It was one of those action-packed movies that I hadn't seen in a long time, and it just popped up somewhere on the internet. I was like, oh, I need to go rewatch this movie. So just give me a second. I'm gonna find the name.
You got to remember it.
Yeah, I save my brain power for other important things instead.
Yeah.
So, Paul, how about you, sir? What did you do in the theater, or did you have any movie you're
Well,
watching?
you know, after I resolved my networking issue with some of my devices, I did end up completely reformatting my NAS
Ooh.
and changing it from ZFS back to ext4. So, and I've already noticed quite a bit of improvement for large files and streaming, while the ZFS with the block structure and the way that works, it's, you know, way better for like compression, deduplication, and rebuilding RAID for speed in a business, and the way it handles, you know, files. It offers a whole lot for a business, but for streaming and stuff like that, the large files, come to find out, the sequential read, how ext4 works, is just way better performance by like a good 25%. And I think you can get ZFS to be kind of equivalent, but then you're negating all of the features that file structure even offers in the first place. So
I'm so glad that you were the guinea pig for this.
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
when I
like-
get you to set mine up, because
well,
I'm not.
when-
That was
when
just
something
way over my head
new,
right
you
there.
know,
So-
you want the newest, latest, and greatest, and most robust, and then come to find out, it's like, that's probably what you shouldn't be doing that for 100 gig files, you know, on your NAS. So it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of putting everything back. I would have already been done, but I had some weird things with the USB hub problem that stopped I was doing this for like 24 hours, pushing everything back, and I guess the hub kind of crapped out, and it only moved over 18 video files, and I was like, oh crap. So I lost 24 hours from that. But other than that, I know what movie I watched, although I had to think about it. I watched the live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, nice.
So
What did you think of it?
I mean, if you like the cartoon, you'll like this. It's a
Mm-hmm.
little less playful, you know, because it's not a cartoon with people that, you know, you can't just throw people, you know, in real life like you can a cartoon. So
Right, of course,
if that makes sense. But
So-
it hits on all the main funny parts. It's pretty good. So
I was able to partake in 2 movies, and I think it was Friday of last week, F1 came out, and I immediately downloaded it. You know, so it was I downloaded it on somewhere. I don't think that they're in this room, but I downloaded it on my player, so we won't mention it. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. The story was good. I will say I was a little underwhelmed on the Atmos, but yeah, it was definitely a good story. And the other movie that I watched was Amateur, which has the guy that played he was in a totally different role, and I didn't expect him to be in a role like this. It was he played in Bohemian Rhapsody as the lead singer. What's his name? Remy Malek.
yeah.
So that was Amateur was actually a good movie. So I'd recommend to watch it. It was pretty good. So Rob, we've seen your theater before, so we know you have a home theater. Anything that you've done or watched in the theater lately?
Oh wow, what haven't we watched besides a ton of demo clips? I did watch F1. I completely agree. Not a lot of. I mean, I really didn't get a lot going on in the Atmos.
Right.
But the story was absolutely great, so I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I recently watched that I thought was, oh, okay, yeah, I can test that. I did watch the How to Train Your Dragon. I did watch the Lilo and Stitch. I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, nothing too crazy.
Very good. Very good. Mr. Chuck, how about yourself?
Well, speaking of the week, it's like the rest of the exhibitors here, we were swamped with preparation for the show. But last weekend, I was able to watch Mission Impossible.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did you think of that one?
Well, it could have a little bit more bass, but no. The submarine scene is awesome in terms of low frequencies. There's a huge amount of energy in that.
Very nice.
And so that was enjoyable.
Yeah, I need to check that one out. I haven't purchased that one yet. I've been trying to save some pennies, but especially when F1 costs like $40 right off the rip, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, wow. So how about you, Rigo? You have a home theater?
I do, but at the moment I've been listening to a lot of 2-channel stuff. But yeah, I did watch a couple musical documentaries for checking out 2-channel stuff. But 2 weeks ago, I did pull out the home theater because in my living room I can convert it from 2-channel to home theater. So we watched. I can't remember the name of the movie. I'm gonna have to get back.
You're gonna have to look it up.
It was an action-packed. Which one was it? Oh, let me look it up. I'll look it up.
No
The
problem.
one I watched was Final Score. That was the
Yeah, I'm
movie.
like Ike.
It's a great movie. Final Score, that's what it's called.
Okay.
It's an older
haven't
movie.
seen
It's
that
from 2018, I believe. Yep.
So, Mr. Chris, how about you, sir? Any updates? Tell us. Do you have a home theater, and what's the configuration if you do?
It's kind of in, most of it's in storage currently. So I'm living It's like I told one of my single friends years ago. I'm having to live vicariously through you. So this week I spent, it was an installation week down in a place in Florida. And sorry, my cat. And it was it had Trinov audio for the processing. So we know they're not messing around. I mean, these are best in class systems. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to actually get to watch content on it though, because this was an installation trip, and I didn't think the projector was in. I'm just the screen guy.
Right.
Getting that, but it was this very well-to-do client. But this is the first masking screen they've ever experienced. So he was so excited.
That's awesome.
What
part of Florida?
To where we asked him, what's your first movie you're going to watch on this? And he's huge into racing, huge into aviation. So he wasn't sure if it was going to be F1 or maybe go to Maverick or something. But yeah, I've held off on F1 because from what I'm hearing is the whole audio level's down like 3 to 5 dB. And for our demos, we're bouncing clip to clip to clip. Like I can't have somebody riding the volume knob, even though. One year I did fly one of our people out actually just to ride the volume knob through the demo, but
oh wow,
he hated that.
So the man of the hour, Mr. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Welcome back again. We
Welcome back to the
appreciate
show.
you coming back to the show.
Yeah.
So but Jim was on what, maybe 2 months ago? Maybe
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah, it's been three. Yeah, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, no, we definitely appreciate you coming back, and we know that you put this Sound Room 11 together with this great panel of guests that we got here. So tell us a little bit about yourself for those of you that didn't see the last episode.
Sure, I'm Jim. I'm the founder of Lumagen. We've been in the business of selling video processors for about 23 years now. We've had, it depends how you count, 6 or 7 generations. We have had very good response to our products. They're being used in studios. Studio reference quality has been our mantra. See what the director intended for this entire time. And it's basically being used in a major studio for doing their vetting of their consumer releases, because he has to match the studio reference masters. And he says, really, the only way to do that is with the Lumagen doing the consumer HDR10 tone mapping. So we've been doing video for a long time, and SR11 just became available. We were looking for what we were going to do. SR11 became available. We said, we've got to do it this year. This is the year. We're talking about our current products. We're talking about our future artisan product. And it's just perfect timing. We've got a great group of sponsors for the year, and also a great group of contributors who are helping us dial in things and do the acoustic treatment. and things like that. So I think it's going to be an amazingly good demonstration.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Paragons of home cinema. How did you come up with that?
Well, our theming for our website is Paragon of Video Processing, which is what we've been for 23 years, the best. If you want the best, if you want the studio reference, the true gen lock, the true lip sync processing, the best scaling, and the best dynamic tone mapping, you've got to come to Lumagen. And so what we wanted to do is use our theming to talk about all the other people and companies that we are bringing into the show. So Paragons of Home Cinema made perfect sense for us.
Very nice.
That's good.
So, how about yourself, Jim? I know it's probably been a hell of a week for you, but were you able to take in any content or in the theater? I see you're sitting in your theater that you were in
Yes.
the last time.
Well, the only movie we've watched the entire movie of was MI8. I told my wife, I'm not going to look for clips on this until after I watch it. I did not want to ruin the movie. So we watched MI8, and then we started looking at various scenes and stuff for MI8.
What'd you think of it? Was it good? Because I haven't seen it yet.
I enjoyed it. I think there are, obviously things they could have done a little differently. But I thought overall, the submarine scene was amazing. I think that with the bass, as Chuck was saying, that the bass on that is just going, to be extremely viewed this year. I suspect most of the sound rooms will use it.
Oh, wow.
Very good. Very good.
That's good.
All right. So let's just say hi to everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here. We got Rich, we got Derek, we got MFK Home Theater. Appreciate you guys for joining us this evening. So let's go ahead and Jim, we'll go ahead and start with you, sir.
Okay.
Let's talk about what you're going to be debuting at the show and what you may be having in the future also.
Okay. Well, we're showing the Radiance Pro 5244, and that's our high-end models where we do we have lots of electronic, linear power supplies. I've got over 30 of them in there to really reduce the electrical noise in the system and really reduce the output jitter so that we can get the absolute best video and audio. In the audio realm, I hear a significant improvement because we can take the jitter from a source down to about 10 picoseconds of clock jitter going into the audio processor. And then the audio processor's de-jitter circuits can take it from there to reduce the jitter at the DACs. And I when I first heard that on Never Enough, Greatest Showman Never Enough, I was floored at how much just reducing the jitter to the audio processor improved the audio. I also saw a little bit of video improvement, but I don't talk too much about that because it is subtle. It looked a little more 3D. Some people see it, some people don't. But the 5000 series is our premium line. The 5244 is the most popular. It has 6 inputs, which satisfies most systems, and 2 outputs, one for audio and one for video. And so we'll be using that at the show. At the show, we're also going to have an Artisan, and we plan to do a demo with it. It's still a product in process, but we have video and audio going through it, and we're going to try to show that at CEDIA.
So what are the differences between the two models that were the one that that's going to be the main showcase, and then the upcoming Artisan?
The Artisan is a evolutionary improvement, basically continued refinement of the video pipeline. So we're going to go to a 444 pipeline, which you don't really need for the current consumer HDR10 or SDR video, but it is something that gamers are going to like. And then as you get the Kaleidoscape Strata V, which we'll actually be using at the show, it has Dolby LLDV, and the way they encode that, it actually can give you better chroma resolution. So we think there might be something to be had there at 4K. So I look at it as a refinement for 4K. we're actually talking about it as an 8K product, but just getting it for 4K, it's a further refinement. Over time, the initial product we're introducing right now is the 8K ready. So we're using the 8K chips. We're using a much larger, well over 4 times larger FPGA with almost 7 times as many lookup base multiply accumulates, which is really the thesis in our pipeline. Multiply, add, multiply, add. The algorithms are all that kind of math. And so there's lots of horsepower to do 4K better. We're going to have 4K Derby for those that like it. I kind of like it, set to a low setting, but you'll now be able to do that with 4K content. And then 4K 120 to me is really where it's at for gamers. And what we're working on doing is the same 3 milliseconds with Genlock on delay for gamers. That's fast enough in both Radiance Pro and in the Artisan. That 4K 120 will become a thing for gamers to be able to do processing, do tone mapping, do aspect ratio control in the Artisan. And that's one of the things that will bring, I think, people in to buying the Artisan for gamers.
It's good.
All right.
So let's
Oh,
get
what
everybody
happened?
back.
What happened there?
Did you kill her?
Oh no, we lost Jim.
Yeah,
So
there we
that's
go.
what happened.
That's what I was like. Wait, what? I'm not seeing that.
Yeah,
He was going out on a high peak there. He just
There you
dropped-
go.
he
I
just
know.
dropped
It was
the
like
mic,
the mic
and
drop, and he's like,
he's like, "Peace out."
There he is. He's back. There he is.
There he
it
is.
was a
Just
perfect.
Sorry about that.
Right there.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, so the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be controlling the Seymour trim screen, their low end entry model that they're going to be showing at the show, I think, for the first time. And so I think that's going to be a great show. It's a non-acoustically transparent screen, which as a video guy, I prefer a non-acoustically transparent screen. You will have a little bit higher resolution, and the weaves have gotten so much better, but I still prefer that. And I think that's going to be a great part of the demo.
it's good.
very nice.
Yeah, I'm
So-
looking forward to it. We had Jim on the show a couple of months ago, and he made me a believer in Lumagen, and I ended up with one in my theater. So that's I'm looking forward to the showroom and to the experience. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was always a believer. So I heard who did I heard Taurus and Chris Deering on his podcast talking about Lumagen and how Taurus said it was the best thing in his rack. And I was like, what is Lumagen? I gotta have one of those, right? So yeah, so I also own one, which is the 4242. So I really enjoy it. I will have to ditto the same thing that Taurus said and say that it's probably the best piece of equipment in my rack.
Well, thank you.
It improves any video you got, like any future projector you got, any flat panel you got. I mean, it's like an investment, and like it'll pay forward. I don't know, forever.
yeah. So I think now we'll go over to Mr. Chris, right?
Hey, there you go.
Now that we know what we're going to be using for video processing, I think it's important what we are going to be projecting all that beautiful, image too, right? So tell us, what do we have for CEDIA? What are you working on?
So the Lumagen is going to be showing our entry-level masking screen. It's a motorized masking. This one will have the top-bottom mask. It's that one. You're going to make me get my glasses out. It's the trim.
Yeah, I got
It's
you. The
basically
trim top bottom.
Yeah, and it's the top-bottom one. And yeah, we're using the non-acoustically transparent. This is our reference white, perfectly smooth material, because we in this configuration, we're going to have the speakers around the screen as well. We're showing off though. So this masking screen is like half the price of any other masking screen in the market. So we've reduced the component size, made the velvet fascias separate, so that they can be replaced or repaired. But importantly, this lets us all pack this into a cardboard box, which saves us a tremendous amount of cost that the customers are not really interested in paying for giant wooden crates. It's a means to an end, but say how much this 700-pound crate, how great that was. So it's a thin bezel, entry level motorized masking screen, still manufactured, handmade in Iowa. So custom made to order. And a new feature we're showing that we haven't had in masking screens is we developed a new velvet that will have the masks made from a non-acoustically transparent, because we don't need it in this case, but it's a fabric pile velvet that matches our frame, and doesn't have that kind of two-tone look with the acoustically transparent mesh. So we got some features to show. You know, Lumagen, auto masking it, not needing automation. So I think Jim's phrase of the Paragons of home theater. This is really a just delicious chef's kiss, system that the partners were putting together here because of how well it hits beyond what you're paying.
So, as far as the borders can you? I know a lot of your screens you can customize the border size, and this particular one, can you also do that because of the masking, or no?
So this one will have what they call constant width. So that width is going to stay the same in the room, and we're just going to let the digital projection and Lumagen, whatever the content's going to be, it's going to have however much black bars on the top and the bottom, and the Lumagen's going to tell the Seymour masking screen how much to change its shape. So the top and bottom masks are going to come in and just kill any kind of ambient reflecting. It'll be a dark gray. It's a very ideal room, but we'd like to show that masking will improve any projection out there. And kind of like what I just said with Lumagen's product is you invest in this, and then all future projection just is going to be so much better. Yeah.
So what is so on this particular screen, what is the borders on the side? Do you remember?
It's about 3 3/4 inches wide on the sides and about 4 on the top and bottom. We have a little bit of a reveal, but that's the thinnest border motorized masking screen on the market. It's only 1 inch and 5/8 deep. So it's tight. We have size restrictions. You can only go so big. This is our entry level masking screen, but for theaters like we're putting together here, which is no slouch. I mean, what we're talking about, integrating to this room is heavy hitting, but it can be done at this size.
So what is the dimensions? What is the screen size that's going to be going into SR11?
So the width on that is 120 inches, which diagonal is not quite 140.
Okay. And is that going to be in Cinescope, or is that going to be in 16:9?
So native 16:9, and you'll get tired of me. In masking talk, I do a lot of this with my hands, but so it's constant width.
Right.
And then the top bottom mask is going to do this. So that's the most set it and forget it format.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Trinov's demonstration room has that as well. Is you set this 16:9, and then you don't have to engage other things. You just let that masking eat up whatever content variation you got.
Now, will that masking? What's the speed of that masking? As far as we have these movies now that have the variable aspect ratio. Right. So will that keep up with the speeds of those shots?
Good question. Officially, I would say no. I don't think I would want to do that.
Okay.
I think I've talked with Jim on this as well.
Yeah.
He's never really been a fan of trying to in movie do something like that.
Yeah. Even with our instant auto aspect, I recommend people turn off the auto aspect. And so what I tell people, if you have an anamorphic screen without masking, you turn off auto aspect and watch it as 240. Top End Maverick is an example. Yeah. If you want to see it like the IMAX, where this 1.9 is larger than 240, then you watch it as 1.9. You set your screen up for 1.9, move your mask or whatever, and then you'll see that automatically. But if you watch Top End Maverick in an anamorphic theater, it doesn't change aspect in the middle. It's not intended to. You watch the whole thing. I think it's very distracting to have the aspect ratio change, even if it's instant and masking is mechanical, there's just no way you're going to make that instant. So choose an aspect ratio. That's what I would love to see directors do. Choose an aspect ratio, stick to it for the whole movie. But if you have control of it, I just say turn off auto aspect, pick an aspect, 1.9 if you want, 240 if you want, turn off auto aspect, watch the whole movie that way.
So with
We're
instant,
experimenting some with
yeah,
it
I was going to
because
say
we
with
can.
instant masking, and I don't know if the technology has reached the affordability to the screen manufacturers, but the only way that I see that as being plausible is, there's paint or material that is reactive to specific light. And if you could have like a Lumagen, where it's normally a black bar, it would produce a particular pattern that would make that material or paint go black. And then when it's not, it's instantly back to white. So that's the only way for future technologies to do something like that, because there's no way you're going to have any actuator or motor be so quick. And if it is, you're going to be spending another 10 years trying to get it silent.
Well, and we're playing with that, Paul, just because we can.
Yeah.
And so we're developing our next,
But
our
trying to
next
get that
generation.
affordable, is like.
But I'm skeptical that I would even want to sit through that. Like if
Yeah.
I'm super ADHD, and if something triggers, I'm gonna
yeah,
lose it.
yeah.
So
I mean,
if we can do it, we'll do it.
yeah. And it would be still cool, but man, that would be tough. It would have to be featherweight masking. Like,
Yep. And super
that
fast
would
and
be
very
hard.
accurate. Yep.
Otherwise, you would have to have, a reactive material and then, integrate it with, something like a Lumagen or et cetera that could, put a specific thing to tell a reactive material, hey, go full dark. So, but that technology exists. It's just now we only see it in the, what is that? There's like a glow in the dark paint that's reactive to power, right? And you could kind of something like that, right? Like you do a small voltage to it and it could turn like full tint black type of deal. So, and that would be, instant as well. So
it's interesting. I wonder if because they're pushing that as like an art form, and I kind of get it, like because they go big when the action's really coming in.
Yeah,
I understand it, but then I'm always curious, like, is this going to keep going? Is Chris Nolan going to keep doing this?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a neat trick, but I'm curious.
I do 16:9 without masking, and the one of the Batman movies, I didn't even realize. I was like, wait, what? It has, and I had to put it back. I was like, oh yeah, it does. It goes. I didn't even notice.
I always tell everybody to go for the
even
largest 16:9 screen that you can. Even though I went totally against what I'm saying here, but when you do that, you're only losing a little bit on the top and bottom when you do go to scope screen, right? So it does give you the opportunity to have the larger screen. And when you do the comparisons, like on Projector Central or the other website, I can't remember it, but you can compare the screens, and you're only losing like 8 inches or something like that when you're going like this way. So when you're coming from 16:9 to the 240 movies and 235 movies, so that's great that you have that product that's going to do the top and bottom for that. I look forward to seeing that for sure.
Yep.
And just to play with ratios, we'll have a static area where we're just stuffing 20-second clips of different ratios with a 4-way screen. So you'll see 1:3, 2:7:6. I mean, everything in between.
Now, for those that don't have the integration, there was a manual button. Is that something, the manual button that you have, is that like you can preset it, or how does that work? And does it come in a different like look? Because I think it was just a white IKEA like looking button.
Yeah, a little square box thing.
Yeah.
So you get the, in this case, the limits would be all the way out. That's at the factory. All the way in, that's set at the factory. And you're usually going to use those. You got 16:9, you got 240. Probably, 90% of your content is going to be those two.
Yeah, those two.
If you want something in the middle, you can always just open, close, stop, and you just, bump, and stop it.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
that's
Okay.
what you do if you don't have a Lumagen.
All right, so let's go ahead and move to the start of the signal chain, which would be the Trinov processor, right? So, Mr. Chuck, tell us about what you have showcased in Sound Room 11.
So Sound Room 11, we're going to have the Altitude 32 1624, which is a 24-channel processor. And that's going to be running all the switching sources. We're going to do the format decoding and running the optimizer. So the optimizer is going to be providing the speaker and room correction, allowing us to fine tune the system. And in particular, in this sound room, we're going to be running waveforming. So we're going to have 4 of the next level acoustics subwoofers, 2 in the front of the room, 2 in the back of the room. And we'll be demonstrating the benefits of waveforming in terms of improving the low frequency reproduction by effectively reducing, if not eliminating, standing waves in the room. And that's really going to drive the overall sound quality and bring out the very best performance from the rest of the equipment and the speakers. And this is the Altitude.
This is the 32, I believe.
Yeah, this 32 here.
This is the one that you're going to be showcasing, correct?
Yes, and that is available in 4 versions. The differentiation is the number of output channels. There's an 8-channel version, 16, 24 as we're going to be using, and a 32-channel. Now that's the number of analog outputs available, but we have in the software for each of these models the ability to process an additional 4 channels. It's what we call the +4. That brings out 4 additional channels on one of the digital outputs. And that with external D to A converters turns each one to an additional 4 channels. So a 16 channel unit would be able to process 20 channels. And the same +4 capability is built into our other Altitude model, the Altitude 16, which is a base 16 channel unit. Again, that can do up to 20 channels, has the same optimizer capability, has the same, there's your Altitude 16, has the waveforming. As you can see, it doesn't have quite the same chassis size, doesn't have quite the number of inputs, doesn't have the DB25 outputs that allow us to get connections to up to 32 channels for analog connections. And those are the 2 current models in the product lineup.
So the difference between the 32 and the 16, is there a bigger, because look, those of you that don't know, this is basically a computer, right? So is there a difference in the processor between the 2 of them?
Well, there's the processor in the Altitude 32, because it has to handle up to 32 channels, does have more processing capability. But the processor is geared to the requirements of the number of channels. There's no performance difference between the 2. Okay. And in fact, the audio circuits, the software, the DACs are identical. So for someone who's contemplating an Altitude 16 and is aware of the Altitude 32, there's really no trade-off in terms of sound quality. The performance with everything up to 192 kilohertz source material is the same, which raises an interesting point on the altitudes. Because we're based on a PC rather than using a chipset to do the decoding of formats, we do all of our processing in our own custom software and in the Golden Code decoding software provided by Dolby and DTS and Auro 3D. And that gives us the ability to do all of our audio processing at native sampling rate. Most every other processor or receiver that you might use is going to switch the content that isn't 48K to 48K. And that sample rate conversion can cause a loss in audio quality. So when you play a CD through an altitude, it's 44.1. If you play high-res material at 96K, 24-bit, that's how it will be processed in the altitude 16. And the altitude 32 has the further capability of processing that ultra high-res material, 24.192 at native sampling rate.
Very nice. Very nice. And congratulations on the announcement of the new product also. You want to just touch on that?
We are introducing, we're going to be showing for the first time the Altitude CI, which is a new model. It's an addition to the line. It doesn't replace anything that's already there. And the CI stands primarily for custom installation. We are rolling out information on this product on kind of a limited basis. We'll be doing a full reveal of the features at CEDIA Expo. But this is a processor that provides the capability, multiple capabilities of outputs. There are 8 analog outputs, but higher channel counts are available through audio over IP. So you can do Dante, you can do AES 67, and we also have digital outputs for AES EBU or AES 3. And that is something that we see as more of the future of advanced home theaters, because they're moving more and more towards network connections, and this processor is really optimized for that. It has a feature set that we'll talk about more at the show that is beyond what anyone else is offering in terms of these kinds of capabilities. So pricing will be announced at the show. It will be available in various channel configurations. You'll be able to go from as few as 8 channels to all the way up to 32 channels. And we've just announced it this week, and the response has been extremely positive. There's a lot of excitement going on around this.
Yeah, definitely. I was excited to see that you could customize how many channels. You know, if you only need 8, if I got 2 subs in the front and only 1 in the back, I only need to get 1 subwoofer channel. You know, I know they come in pairs, right?
Yeah,
from what I understand, right? So, but yeah, so you might just have 1 extra channel rather than 5 or 6 extra channels. You know, so. But yeah, that fantastic news that just came out on that. And one last question I have. I know Trinov just came out with a new interface, right? A new GUI.
The other thing we're going to be showing at the show that's brand new is the user interface, the GUI, as you said. And this is a complete refresh that is absolute new design. It's gorgeous. It's very user-friendly. The navigation is more direct. It's easier to do setups, easier to do calibrations, and it gives some additional information on the screens in a more user-friendly presentation. So that's something that's going to be available coming towards the end of the year, as is the new CI processor. And that will be available as all of our updates as a free upgrade, free download that users will be able to do once it becomes available. So any existing Altitude owner will be able to get the new user interface. Because this involves some significant changes to the underlying code, where we're making a lot of improvements and setting things up for future upgrades, going to the new user interface is going to require a fresh calibration. We won't be able to carry over the existing settings as we will be in the future, but with this change, because it's more on a fundamental level, people will need to do a fresh calibration. That's why we've announced this a little bit ahead of its availability, so the people that are planning to do calibrations will be aware of it and can plan to schedule the calibration accordingly.
So would you say that this would be a required update, or will the users still, have the ability to wait till whenever they want to do maybe the next calibration and do the upgrade?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's not mandatory.
Okay.
The performance really is not going to give you any improvement if you change to it. You'll have a friendlier interface. You'll like the appearance, but it's not going to fundamentally change how it performs. All of the optimizer functions, all of the waveforming functions they're going to be identical.
Okay.
Very good. So let's go down the signal chain next. So we're going to hit the amplifiers, right? So we're going to hit the amplifiers. So Rigo, give us a little bit about what you're going to be showcasing.
So yeah, it's our first time at CEDIA, so we're going to actually debut our product for the first time at CEDIA. We've gone before, but never as an exhibitor, more so as just browsing and stuff like that. But yeah, we're going to debut two 8-channel amplifiers and a 4-channel amplifier. The two 8 channels will be powering the left, center, right, surrounds, and Atmos. Other 8 channels will power both 8 channels will power the bed layer and Atmos, and the 4 channels going to power the subwoofers, the Next Level Acoustics, high velocity 15s. So it's a 2U rack, and then we're going to use the Trinov waveforming to power the subwoofers.
And these are Class D amplifiers, right?
Yeah, that is correct. The 8-channel amplifier is 400 watts at 4 ohms, and the 4-channel amplifier is 700 watts at 4 ohms as well.
So yeah, so let me just I know you said you were working on getting the these amplifiers up on your website, but definitely want to share other stuff for your website also.
Yeah.
So looks like you got some plate amplifiers, rack amplifiers. Let's go to the rack because that's going to be something similar to what you're putting in, right? So
yeah, absolutely. So these are our subwoofer rack amplifiers. Everything we sell on our website currently is subwoofer amplifier based. So they're not really used for full range. And what we're trying to do here is kind of come into the market with full range amplification and kind of that same build quality and trust that we have in the subwoofer aspect of amplification we want to bring to the full range, so people can basically have a whole SpeakerPower amplifier set up in their home theater. So that's kind of what we're aiming for.
For your existing subwoofer amplifiers, do those work with bass shakers or Croson type devices?
Yes, they do. So we have a couple of customers that have reached out inquiring about what amplifiers to use for the kind of application. Usually those transducers can handle up to like 500 watts. So I point them to our standalone amplifier, which is the HTB 700, and that's kind of like it's a plate amplifier in a box, but it allows you to really move those transducers at low frequencies like 10 hertz, 5 hertz.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I was discussing with him, because someone had asked me if there's difference in amps. I was like, well, it depends, because something like a Crown or something like that, a lot of the times they have gates on them to where it's like, hey, they only go down to 20 hertz because they're not subwoofer amps. They're meant to be for live performances, and you don't need 5 hertz in a field.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we have stood out amongst other amplifier manufacturers, especially with our big flagship 6,000 watt module. There's nothing really out on the market that can compete with that module in terms of sustained output at low frequencies. Just like you mentioned, a lot of amps kind of cut off after below 20 hertz, so it's hard to find an amp that can produce high current, high voltage at those low frequencies.
Yep. So this one here, is that would the correlation be with I guess it's 2 channels, 6,000 watts a piece, 12,000.
Exactly. So that's our dual monoblock 12,000. So basically 2 6,000 watt modules in the chassis. So each channel has its own power supply and DSP. So the DSP we offer is just a basic DSP setup where you have a gain, low frequency adjust, which helps with the low end. So everything 40 hertz and below, you can either boost it or cut it, depending on the placement of the sub. Then we have a crossover knob, so you could just tune that to your speakers, and a delay knob to time align with stuff with your front, speakers or speakers in general. But now with waveforming and these awesome Trinov processors that are out there, customers don't need that. So that's why for this demo, we wanted to showcase, hey, you can get the same performance, but since you're already paying for a high quality processor, you don't really need our DSP because all that is taken care of in the front end. So what we're doing in Sound Room 11, we are showcasing the 4-channel version of that 700 watt amplifier, and letting Trinov take care of all the DSP and room correction stuff that needs to occur in order to produce great sound.
Yes, sounds like there'll be plenty of power in that room then.
Yeah. More options is always better, right? Yeah.
Definitely. So that's basically the idea with these with these amplifiers that we have in Sound Room 11. The other thing I would like to touch on is the affordability aspect. So the 8-channel amplifiers are going to retail for $2,000. And we'll have a show special for $1,499. So that's going to be kind of our launch price. And
Very
the 4
nice.
channel amplifier is going to be $1,500 retail. And
You guys heard it here. Get your digital coupon now.
Exactly. So the idea there was to give next level speakers enough power to have them sing and especially the subs, kind of give them enough power to be able to do what they do. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. We want to be at SpeakerPower. We want to be the amplifier manufacturer that people can trust, just like they trust Seymour Screen and Lumagen for video stuff. That's what we want to be for amplification.
So before we go to Rob, I just want to make mention of some people that couldn't join us. Valencia Seating is going to be using their Barcelona Ultimate Luxury Edition seats. They'll be in there. AV Partners for video calibration. Bespoke Cinemas for audio room equalization. Kaleidoscape is going to be your player. Tributary Cables. Home Theater Gurus for acoustic design. Kinetics Noise Control for acoustic panels. And Thrillcat Cinema for video production. So just wanted to mention those guys who couldn't be here. But last but not least,
And we have digital projection.
yes, you're correct.
So
Digital
we don't want to
projection.
forget that.
Correct.
I'm looking forward to seeing that projector. I don't think I've ever seen that, but just looking at the specs of that thing, it looks impressive. But before you go, can anyone in the chat guess how much this room totals up to? We'll get to that after with next level, but I just want to see if you guys in the chat are able to give us an idea of what this room might cost.
Yeah, so digital projection, sorry about that. But yeah, so they're going to be, I've never heard of them either, but it's going to be, the projector's going to be a full Rec 2020. So can't wait to see that. So
If I might weigh in, it's a single chip 3 laser, RGB laser, so it doesn't have a color wheel. I have been able to see it at the Tech Summit CEDIA back in June, and it's a very good looking projector. It's rated at 10,000 lumens. After calibration, obviously it'll be a bit less, but it's got an amazingly good looking picture. And it's going to run about, I think, 29,000, including a lens. So I think people will be very impressed with that, especially we got the Lumagen, we've got the Seymour screen, so it's going to look very, very nice.
Wow. Yeah, 10,000 lumens. That's a pretty competitive price for a projector.
Yeah, I think the MSRP is what, around 27,000, 26.
they have a full lineup of projectors too. So I mean, it's some 16,000 lumens, 15,000 lumens.
Oh, dang.
So they have quite the lineup also. So last but not least, Mr. Rob, we all
Yeah.
we all enjoy sound, and you're going to be providing that for Sound Room 11, right? So,
That's right.
tell us a little bit about what you have going in, and we'll pull up your website also.
Sure. So we've got the Cinema Series going into this sound room. It's going to be a 9.4.6 system. The big thing about what we're going to be showing is our horn-based system. We debuted a version of this back in 2022. And we've obviously made a lot of improvements since then. And now we're going to be bringing out our flagship Cinema Pro model. So what's great about these speakers, besides their high efficiency, which are in the 95 and 96 dB range, is its form factor. These sound like they would be much bigger cabinets. I mean, we're talking 2-3 times the size. Our Cinema 8s are only 12 by 24, and our Cinema Pros are like 45 by 12. And they're all meant for 2x6 construction, except for this room configuration, we're actually doing on walls so that we can do proper toe-ins. So the big piece de resistance with these speakers and why they're different than other manufacturers' horns is because of the quote-unquote secret sauce that goes on behind the scenes in terms of us doing our own crossover work. And basically what I mean is a lot of times, horns have amazing cinematic output and depth of field, but if they're not done right, they can actually get fatiguing after a while. And they may even have like a little bit of tinniness in the higher end frequencies. So long story short, we were able to eliminate about 90% of those first order reflections. So what does that mean? That means people's minds are going to be blown, because you're going to get the cinematic output of a horn with the finesse of a silk dome tweeter. And we've demoed this recently at Tech Summit, and just people were bewildered that we went from explosions and bass drops to Nora Jones like it was nothing. I mean, it was almost as if we just swapped the speakers. Said, all right, Nora Jones is on, let's just put in a silk dome system. Oh, let's take that out. Oh, we've got explosions now. So they're kind of double duty. So we're really proud about this overall design. And then in terms of the Atmos, we're actually going with our IC44As, except we're modifying those so that they're on ceiling versions, and we're going to be able to angle those for proper placement. And then we're proud to have 4 of our high velocity 15s going into the room at quarter points. Especially considering that we're going to be doing waveforming, and as Chuck mentioned, you need at least 4 subs in order to do waveforming. So what's interesting about these subs is that traditionally with front firing type subwoofers, a lot of times they're a lot slower and they need a lot more power. The high velocities is exactly what it means. They're proprietary to us, and it really is a high velocity sub. That means as fast as it hits, it's as fast as it's out. It hits deep, it hits low, it hits clean. There's no distortion, or very, very minimal, in the second and third order harmonics. And it's a proprietary tuned design using a 2-port mechanism. It's really wild to kind of hear like what these things can actually do in such a small form factor. And that's really what we're trying to go for. Big sound, small form factor, affordability, super, super easy to drive, and just extremely versatile in terms of whether you're playing music, explosions, gunshots, mid-bass slam, it kind of does it all. So we're super excited to be paired up with the rest of the sponsors. And I'm banking on the fact that people are gonna be leaving that demo scratching their head. It's like, how did all those guys pull that off for that price point?
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I am ecstatic to see this theater that you guys are going to be putting together. 24 by 16 with a lot of looks like using a lot of good components going into this, along with being soundproofing and everything else like that. So just a fantastic layout. I can't wait to get out there to see this one.
Yep. And the price of that room is what, $174,000?
Right in there, 174, 177 range.
177 range. Wow, with all that technology, that is
Now, does
amazing.
that include? Is there going to be an acoustic treatment in there, or?
Yeah, Kinetics.
Kinetics will be doing that, right?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, man, that's
And most of the room sponsors are U.S. manufacturers as well.
That is impressive, so that's really impressive. We're definitely looking forward to experiencing SR11 next week, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So those of you that haven't checked out their websites, make sure you go over, make sure you show your support for everyone that's joined here in this evening and everyone that's going to be in SR11. Make sure you go over and check out their products. And if you get a chance to demo it, I know CEDIA is not usually open to the public, but if you do get a chance to demo some of these, I highly recommend going to check some of these brands out. Really appreciate you guys joining us this evening.
Yeah.
I know it was a little short notice, but we definitely appreciate everyone joining for this evening, and look forward to seeing you guys for my first ever CEDIA. Paul, what about yours? Is this your first CEDIA?
I thought I'd been to CEDIA, but I apparently have not been to CEDIA. I've been to so many shows. And I started looking, I was like, oh wait, no, this isn't the same thing that I've been. So yeah, this is going to be my first actual CEDIA too, because I've been to a lot of like CES and SEMA and stuff like that, and it's like, no, there's no way I haven't been to CEDIA, because I was, did IASCA and USAC competitions back in the day. I just was like, there's no way I haven't been into an audio show. But apparently, no, I have not been. Because the more I looked it up, I was like, well, this doesn't have all of this or any of this. I was like, oh, this must be a different show.
Yeah.
So anything
this will be my fourth time, so I'm looking forward to it.
You got to go to the one in your backyard too, right? There was one in Dallas, right?
Yeah, and they took that away from me, so they need to bring it back to Texas soon too.
So hey, I'm coming to enjoy all of the new technology, because I'm a tech nerd, so any and all of this technology I'm all for, and I won't ask too many nerdy tech questions, because a lot of there's a lot of people there that'll be like, what are you talking about? But it'll be fun either way. So
yep. Okay. Yeah. So
alrighty.
Well, thanks for having us, guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, thanks again. Yeah, thanks for joining. Cheers, and
it's a busy week, and it's going to be more busier.
I'm surprised Chuck isn't on. You guys, Chris, you hooked him up with that dual two-way masking at the last
at M-Wave. Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, Chuck's got a top-bottom mask.
Yeah.
We've got in Connecticut.
Yeah, I brought him there. I was like, Chuck, I wanted to show him the screen, and then because I was going to sell him a screen, and he was like, I said, Chuck, get the screen from Chris, because I can't match that price. Get it from him and take it home.
We're all for each other. It's like, no, dude, you better buy that. That's an amazing screen right there.
Absolutely. Well, guys, this is SR11. Thank you guys all for joining. Really appreciate you guys. Look forward to doing some one-on-one interviews with you guys out at the show. So we'll definitely see you around.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
See you all soon.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Man, I don't know where to start with that. What What am I most excited about? SR11. What are you excited about, Ike?
Everything. So, everything. We'll talk about it, and I'm intrigued. I'm interested in it. So it's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it. But we have our next set of guests lined up. So
I think Chris, you're going to stay on, right? Because you have screens, multiple screens.
I do. I'm kind of jack of all trades.
Oh man!
And we are going to bring in.
He's invited to every party.
I know. I'm the pretty girl in the room this time.
And,
Finally,
you might be the only one with a bigger liver than me.
I reloaded, Paul.
So we're going to bring
in.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being patient with us, and this has been a fun evening, and we get to keep Chris from the previous hour. So thank you so much.
If it wasn't for the lights back here, I would be like, wow, that was an hour.
Yes. So we have SR7 joining us in the show tonight. And I'm looking forward to this one too, because that just sounds like a heavily packed sound room at CEDIA. So thank you everyone for joining us. Some of you we may have met in person before, others we may have not met, but we'll go ahead and let everyone take turns just to introduce themselves and tell us who you are and what you do, and we'll proceed going forward. So I think we'll start with Gary. Welcome to the show.
Sure. I'm Gary Blouse. I'm the VP of Sales with Storm Audio. I've been with Storm for about 6 years, and we're going to have an amazing demo this year. This is easily one of the largest demos that we've ever done, and it's also one of the largest demos I think that anyone's ever done at CEDIA.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Wow!
So lots to tell you about.
That's a bold claim right there.
I know.
Well,
can't wait.
We'll be able to share a little bit and show you some of the room during the presentation. So,
yep,
nice. All right, Mr. Larry Paul, how are you, sir?
I'm
nice to meet you.
Great to meet you as well.
First time on the show. Hopefully, it won't be the last. Same thing with Gary.
Yep. glad to be here.
Nice.
I'm Larry Paul, Executive Director of Technology and Custom Solutions at Christie Digital. And we have just launched, as of Tuesday, 2 days ago, we have just launched our latest Christie Eclipse, our Gen 3. And that's what I'm going to be talking about tonight.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Very nice. This will be, and that projector is going to be at the show, correct?
Correct. Yep.
This will be my first time seeing a Christie.
Down room 7.
Now those Christies, it won't burn that Seymour screen, will it?
No. It'll make it look fantastic.
There's fire retardant on them, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which did you have? Was it 2 years ago? I think it was a Griffin, right? I think.
Yeah, we had Griffins. We've had Griffins. We've had M series. We tried to have an Eclipse Gen 2, and then the world stopped turning during COVID. So, but this is the first time we actually will have a full show floor with Eclipse in it. So,
yeah, the Christie was the one I told Don. I put my hand in front of me and I couldn't see my hands because of how the black floor was in that room. And I can't remember his name, but he made us put a tape on our cameras just to make sure we're not breaking the light in the room. So, I'm looking forward to that too. So. We'll go over to Matt. Thank you for joining us.
Howdy. Yeah, I'm Matt Call, and I'm with Simplified Acoustics, and we are providing the acoustic treatments in this insane sound room, which is just looking at it on the face was an undertaking, but we've got some fun things. It's been awesome being part of this group.
Yeah, that's good. Looking forward to that. And then we have home theater royalty, YouTube royalty, Mr. Joey.
No, I don't know who you're talking about. Hey, Don.
You know I had to do that.
I know, man. Yeah. Hey, guys. Had a little audio problem there to start with, so apologies about that. But yeah, I'm Joey. I'm with at VR Labs, and we're going to be providing the video processor for this system, and it's just, we're super excited about it. It's going to be an incredible system, and anybody that's coming to the show has to come through this sound print. It's going to be an experience.
Okay. And Chris, we will not allow you to be left out. you want to reintroduce yourself for those who are just joining us? And
Cheers. Yes. So I'm Chris with Seymour Screen Excellence, and I think the theme for this room, we originally started off kind of like, let's keep things kind of simple and moderate and reasonable, and then as it grew, these companies, these partners are coming together with, well, I've got this, and I've got this new product, and I've got this new. It's becoming, this room, I would call it, what can you do, which is just going to be mind blowing with just audio and video and the combination thereof and acoustics. Like, it's what can you do, especially just appreciate that we're putting this together in about 4 or 5 days of construction. And it's going to impact these dealers who have been doing this for decades. We're going to show them things they've never experienced before. And we've had 4 days to put this together. So I not to elevate hopes, but I think that's the theme. It's so big that we have to put equipment in the room, and then they have to build the room around the equipment that we're putting in. We can't get it. We can't get it into the room in the first place. That's how scaled this is.
Wow. So let's talk about this room. Who knows the dimensions of this room? Mr. Gary?
So the traditional CEDIA demo rooms are 16 feet by 24 feet. One of the options, though, is that you can add 2 additional panels to extend the length of the rooms, and which we've done with this sound room. So this room is 16 by 32. Am I catching that right, Chris?
Yeah. Yep. You're right. Maybe 34, but you're right.
Yeah, within a few feet there. So, and the reason that really that's an important thing for us is we want to have 3 rows of seats, and you can't have your last row beyond the back wall. So you've got to have some distance between the back wall and the last seats. And also the things that we're talking about are not small, like Chris has said. So we need space for all these giant things to be in the room. And still allow 18 people or so to get in there, 18 people to get in. So it's a pretty impressive room.
So what will be the speaker layout? I just want somebody to say.
I'm just going to go back to Chris's original comment. Chris said, let's do smaller this year. And that went out the window within 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds into the first meeting. And, let me also paint the picture about this, because I don't think a lot of people know how much goes into these things. We start the process in January. Okay. We literally start having meetings twice a month. And we produce, and out of that comes brainstorming sessions about what we're going to put in the room and what we're going to actually do and how the deployment's going to go. And as we start to build this thing, we add more and more detail to it. We'll show you 3D renders of the space in a minute. And eventually it gets to a point where you just look at it and go, this is really the extent of the art form of cinema right now in the residential market. This is as far as you can push it. It's, it's going to have the most dynamics you've ever heard. It's going to have the best bass you've ever heard, I think, personally. So there's a lot to it. Now, let me just answer your question direct. What's the channel layout? Okay, so in this room, we are doing a 15.18.10 layout. I'm sorry, 14.18.10 layout. All right, so we have 14 base layer channels. We have 18 subwoofer channels. And then we have 10 overhead channels. So this is, again, as far as immersiveness goes, this is pushing the envelope on how many channels you can do in this size of a room.
Whose idea was that?
Well, we know what's taking up all.
Whose idea was 18 subwoofers?
Okay. Honestly, I think we can blame a little bit on it on my counterpart, Matt Trinkline, because Matt wanted to show the extent of what our new ADAC decoder can do. And we're pushing the limits on the room. So we're pushing it all the way to the limit. So,
okay. Where are you getting the power to feed all this stuff?
Yes.
Because we have been to many a show and a lot of circuit breaker. Are you having a Generac like off to the side? You're also selling Generac this year.
Yeah, we've rented a lot of circuits. I will.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I think I heard that just an Ethernet drops like $10,000. So I know I know that you guys are for extra power. You're like summoning the guy from Back to the Future for the gigawatt power, right?
Yeah.
They have their own Mr. Fusion. Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and just we'll start off with Chris. So talk to us about what projector you will be featuring in this room, and we'll sort of just go around and give everyone a chance to tell us about what you bring into that room and what else we can expect. You know, if you have any secrets you want to let out, feel free to do that. Not trade secrets, but regular secrets.
Oh, the super secret stuff. Yeah, I'm going to let Larry talk about the projector specifically, because as much as I brag about it, we have an expert here, so we're going to let him
for sure.
Off.
Yep.
From the screen perspective, so this will be an acoustically transparent screen. This is our Enlighter Neo material. It was developed with RGB despeckle, so it eats that speckle up. And as you know, testing has shown with Dolby Labs, it requires fewer laser modules up at kind of the higher end to achieve the same thing. But what we're going to be able to show is that Christie's RGB technology is going to just showcase, from the screen guy's perspective, it's really do no harm. I don't want to impact his audio any. Or video any. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then the audio from Sendo and Storm, I don't want to impact theirs as well. So in this case, with a holistic solution, I need to be best practice audio and video. So this Enlighter Neo material has a 1.5 dB. It's quite flat attenuation. And it does that without having any visible holes, any visible texture, weave. There's no features. You can put your nose up to it and it'll look like a completely solid white screen. We have mastering engineers with just across from a mixing console. So, 40 inches deep or so, they're looking at the screen and it looks like a solid screen to them. So again, we're delivering this kind of best video case where you can size the screen, locate it in the height and the location and size to get cinematic, but best video or audio practice as well, because we're going to be locating Ascendo's new amazing LCR speakers right behind that screen. So you're going to get perfect image and audio co-location. A little trick shot we're showing in this show is the first time we're showing it's a retractable screen with retractable masking. And as odd as it seems to show a retractable screen with the world's greatest projector and in this room of amazing partners, we're going to showcase, we actually have a patent on bordering the retractable with a different material. That's one of the aspects of the patent. In this case, it's a deep pile velvet trim. So it's the same trim we use on our fixed frame screens. So you don't have this painted border and poor absorption of the framing of the image. We're gonna frame that perfectly and give the contrast, not bump, but we're gonna preserve the contrast that Christie can deliver, which is important. In addition, that patent includes hiding the tab tension cables back behind the velvet, so we don't have this huge hourglass shape. We kind of don't have this ugly looking thing dropping out into the room. It's quite tight, what we call in the industry like a less of a hardware margin or hardware penalty, because customers don't really pay you for the hourglass shape. They pay you for the image and what you're doing. So we shrink that. We say it's a bigger image, better sound. And that's what we're really delivering in the end. But we're also then showing, we're going to deploy, this is a 2-stage masking solution. So side masks will come down for 6:9 content. And we're going to show that even in this ideal room with an ideal projector, we're going to show that masking actually has benefits as well, and kind of what that is to live with.
So is that model on your website?
Yeah, the MFR, it would be an iteration of the retractable screen. But it's called the multi-format retractable, and this is the first time again that we've shown this in a demonstration. So we're excited to show you in real world kind of what that does.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the whole screen is going to be retractable now.
Yeah. So what's fun is Ascendo is bringing these. We don't have any Ascendo folks, but they're bringing their new Halo LCR speakers. And so, you know, as people come into the room, we're going to have screen up. You're going to be able to look and check out the entire front soundstage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like some people are, you know, and it does. There's ambiance of, you know, like, hey, I've got I want to listen to my 2-channel setup. Now, yeah, if you have a home theater, you have a center channel too, but you know, there's just certain, you know, you don't want a giant white wall in front of you whenever you're maybe having a glass of wine or whatever you may be, you know? And yeah, that's really cool, because I had that same scenario at one point. I had a OLED, and then I literally had a drop down screen that dropped down like a 1/4 inch in front of the OLED.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh, whenever I want to watch big screen cinema stuff, I want it to drop down.
And if it's acoustically transparent, you can keep. So if you got your OLED and you got your center channel and your speakers around there, keep that. And if it's acoustically transparent screen, you can just drop in front of the whole thing.
With masking and side masking. That's
crazy.
That is really
now, if you also, Paul, have a woven screen with a black backing layer behind it, then you don't care about any reflections off of that old LED screen. Now, perf screens can sparkle through. You don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
But,
yeah.
Anyway, not to go off on a tangent, but
by all means do.
By all means do. He said wine, and I was like, oh, we're going there.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at for screen size for this room?
So this will be a native 2:4 ratio, 166 inches wide, which diagonal is 180. So that's 15-foot diagonal. So it'll be really, really lovely immersion.
Very nice.
Nice. So I think
I'm gonna start measuring my room before I go.
Oh yeah.
You can. Hey, you know that doorway that you have off to the left, Paul. You could just cover that whole thing, and since it's retractable, you can go super big. You can go the whole entire wall.
Yeah. Hey, it's like you got to use the other restroom. It's blocked off. The main one's blocked
exactly.
off. Until the movie's over. You got to go here. Yeah.
Hey, Chris might help you pay for shipping if you just buy the one at the show. So come prepared, Paul.
Bring your credit card.
Bring your credit card.
I don't have my truck yet.
Okay, so I think we'll move on to probably what was the star of the last CEDIA show that I went to. No pun intended, but that was the Christie Griffin. But Larry, you're going to have something else this year.
Yes, we are taking it up a notch or two, as the case may be. And Griffin is a phenomenal machine, as well as our M series. They are both great performers, but we do have one level above that, and that is a special 6 DLP projector, which we call Eclipse. And this is our 3rd generation, hence the name Eclipse G3. We have been actually delivering Eclipse projectors since late 2018, 2019. And we have just refined that product with a 2-piece design that actually moves the entire light source inside the projector head. So the projector head's a little longer, but it's a little bit narrower and a little bit shorter vertically. But it's a unique 6 DLP projector, and what it allows us to do is contrast that has never been before possible before Eclipse, which is that's the wrong. You're bringing up last year's model.
Last year's, my bad.
Not the G3. It should be right next to that on the website. We just launched it. The Eclipse Gen 3 is a 6 DLP product with up to 30,000 lumens and up to 20 million to 1 contrast. And that's real contrast, not just turning off the light source. That's with the light source burning at full power. And you have your pedestal level of black is black. And your brights are up to 30,000 lumens. So it's really an exceptional product. And we designed the Eclipse not to be small and light and portable, but we designed the Eclipse to be the best projected image that one can possibly make. So it's at that, it has the 98% of Rec 2020 color volume like we see with Griffin that you were impressed with, but now we do it with a contrast level that is really unheard of in this class of products, where you really have the full dynamic range, what we call a true HDR projector. And we call it a true HDR projector because it's more than just compatibility with the signal. It actually does video black because of the unique 6-chip DLP design. We've taken all the learning we've done from cinema and our enterprise divisions, and we put all that technology in this product. It is not a DCI class product, but it is a product specifically designed for private cinemas, for planetariums, theme parks, and special venue immersive environments. So it is really, it's one of those things you can read all the specs you want, and it's a wonderful thing to have the spec there. But when you see it in person, you'll really get it. When
I can't wait to see this, because I do a lot of where I see Christie, like actual, like a lot of people don't maybe know that Christie is, they're way more commercial. And I go to Hollywood Casino, and they have a lot of Christie projectors that are projecting on like the back of frosted glass for advertisement. And if I go into the like the sports area where I'm watching a game, they have like projecting and on curved screens that it's crazy amazing looking. And the tech, I'm just like, man, that there's some crazy tech going on right there. We can see like 3 or 4 games. We can see like all kinds of things without issues. And this isn't, we're not light controlled rooms where I'm at, you know?
Right.
And Christie has some amazing technology in this stuff. And the home
you could shine this at the sun and it would still show. No.
Yeah, and that's so like it just to bring it into home cinema and stuff like that is like, it's like, now that, man, you got to appreciate that. It's really, it's a really cool technology. 30,000 lumens.
And by the way, it'll maintain that 30,000 lumens for 50,000 hours without degrading.
Wow.
So
Wow.
We put a ton of energy and design into this product. The first generation, not to say they were all full-time, because they certainly weren't, but we had 90 different people that worked on the Eclipse program over a 5-year period developing the very first unit. So we have a lot of engineering, a lot of IP. It's a really specialty built product. But the Rec 2100 spec of 200,000 to 1 contrast, we're sitting at up to 20 million to 1, depending on what lens you use on it. I mean, it's just a different class of product, and it really, it has that Griffin kind of color quality that you've seen and what you can see at the sports books or other places. But when you get it in a light controlled environment where you can actually like make video black, I mean, it's just, there's nothing like it.
That's what I was wondering. Cause I mean, those, when you're in that environment, let's be honest, you don't really care, but a nerd like me, I'll notice. And and they look
I'm
amazing.
constantly looking up.
They look amazing. And I'm just like, damn, it's like that is cool looking. So this is bringing that level even higher for
Thank you.
People that are like home, like
Exactly.
you said, like big cinemas, home cinemas.
Let's say you wanted to have someone wanted to put one of these in their home. What is the size of this? Is this like a minivan or?
It's not quite a minivan. It is. I can call up the dimensions in a moment. It is not a light projector. We designed it to be uncompromised on its image quality. And if you just scroll down a little bit, and if you just click, nope, not that far.
Sorry.
Just a little bit where
what's your guess? 160 pounds?
Oh, no, it's much more than that.
Oh,
We
damn.
designed it for ultimate in image quality. Hit the view all specs button.
View all spec right at the top.
Requires a 30 amp breaker.
Wow.
Two 30 amp breakers, one for the
Okay.
chiller, one for the projector. Projector is nice and quiet at about 45 decibels, actually a little bit under 45 decibels. So it's a
Wow.
nice quiet projector. It is 410 pounds. I can tell you that.
Wow.
And it is
Okay.
not for the light of heart, but
So
again,
you did a lot of work with the glass as well.
we did a lot of work with every aspect of this projector to make we pulled out all stops to make the uncompromised image quality projector. And that's what this is all about. So yeah, it's a little big, it's a little heavy, it's a little expensive. But if you're looking for the best image on the planet, this projector can really make it. There's really nothing like it.
So what's your maximum, you think, projector screen size, this screen size that you could go with one that's
I mean, it would be larger than any venue that you could imagine. 30,000 lumens lights up a pretty good sized screen. For the quote home theater private venue. I don't think there's any venue that we wouldn't be able to light up with more than enough. But the extra brightness is a lot more than just raw brightness, because your APL of your content is not that high, but your specular highlights and your fine details, your subtleties in blacks, and the real crisp chrome glints that just look like reality instead of just being a blown out blob. You really see those subtle details, and that's what this projector is designed to do, is just give another level of fidelity. And we've had like star fields, because we have a number of these installed in planetariums, and when you have a volumetric model of stars rotating, it looks like you're 3D. And so it's really pretty incredible. And the projector out of the box supports 4K 120 hertz out of the box, from 24, 2398, whatever, all the way up to 120 hertz at true native 4K. That's a full 4096 by 2160. So it's a cinema 4K aspect ratio.
So in other words, if you're gonna put one of these in your house,
you can't ceiling mount it.
You're gonna need a projection room along with a theater room.
Yeah. This is not what you want to just throw over your shoulder and bring it into space.
410 pounds. If you're bringing that in on your shoulder, you can have it.
But yeah, it's definitely exactly if you can lift it. No, but it's designed to be installed, and it's designed to be, if there's ever any service, it's designed to be serviced in place. It's designed as a very industrial product with great access and great accessibility. It's not designed to just pick up and carry over your shoulder, as I was saying, but it is designed for that projection booth that has the appropriate venue. The nice thing is most of the noise and most of the heat comes out of the chiller, and you can relocate that 10, 20, 30,
I was going to ask,
or
the
even
chiller was a separate 161 pound device.
But that's a unit
cool, though.
It's only about, it's about 4 feet tall, about a foot wide, about 2.5 feet deep. It's not that big, and it can be plumbed and far away. So the point is, where your theater is nice and cool and quiet. And
that's how you're getting the 45
exactly.
dB. Yeah, I was like,
all of our heat is
how the heck are you doing that?
Yeah, that's how we're doing it. I mean, like I said, no compromises on the image out the screen, and making the best environment we can. We want the acoustics in the room to shine. We want the screens to look fantastic. We want it to just be the best thing we could possibly make. And that's what we did with Eclipse G3. And I hope everyone gets a chance to see it in SR7, because it's one of those things, like I said, you can read the specs all day long. People put all sorts of specs. This is one of those things you have to see to believe.
Yeah, I mean, I was so impressed by the Griffin. I'm actually sad that there's something better than that one. Because I was really dull. I talk about that every day.
So I would like to mention, in the rooms that we've done with Eclipse, there's an aspect of image quality that not many people appreciate. And what the Eclipse really brings to it is what the technologists will call color volume. And so this color volume is a saturation at point with brightness and power that comes to then, it's this, maybe to an audio analogy that Gary could appreciate, it's this maybe SPL with just perfect clarity and low distortion, where you just get it at this, and then that's a quality that you don't get at lower performing systems, and that's where this Eclipse really comes through and delivers that. Secondly, is that we're showing in some of our preliminary testing that we're hitting brightness levels on screen that are way beyond what normal projection can do. Now, it's not that, as Larry mentioned, you can show, splash a huge image if you want, but at this show, we're not really sure what our final results are going to be after calibration, but we may be hitting 300, 500 nits, maybe more on the screen. Wow. And for a projection system to be doing that, you're hitting OLED kind of brightness levels, but at a surface area that OLEDs aren't doing.
Right.
So that's really changing kind of this dynamic of what a two-piece system really, and by two-piece, even though Larry's bringing 3 on his own side of things, what this projection system, screen projector really is going to do. It's kind of pushing the art form, because if you look at, even Dolby Cinema is considered state of the art at, 100 nits. What does 300 nits look like? What does 500 nits look like? We're going to be able to peak at these levels where we're really going to be able to showcase, again, like I said at the beginning, what can you do?
And I think, the Christie is like one of the pioneers for pushing that high lumen rate, right? I mean, they've always had high lumen rates on all their projectors, and the other companies are trying to catch up, right?
But it's this whole circle. It's just not high lumen. It's this perfect black, and it's a saturation out of the outside, and so you get this whole organic lift of the entire thing, which is a remarkable experience.
And it's every step along the way. We actually discovered when we were developing Eclipse that our tried and true electronics that we had been using for years, we discovered errors in the black levels that were never detectable before, because we never had a projector that could actually show 0 and 1 and 2. Wow. I mean, we discovered these bugs. We fixed the bugs. I mean, they're not there anymore, but we never could see it. We never had a projector that made black enough to actually see those kind of details. So that's what's exceptional. It makes, as Chris was saying, it makes the blacks just, the bottom end, you see those subtle details, you see that illumination, and you also see the high end with those specular highlights that are just,
a huge kind of a misnomer of HDR is it's not a brightness format. There's no B in HDR. It's HD. The D is for dynamic. Dynamic always starts with black, and the Eclipse is going to be making that perfect. And so then whatever we do beyond that is sheer dynamics. So don't just shoot brightness. I mean, your business projector can do bright, but that's not HDR.
That's right. Yep. That's right. And that's why we call this true HDR. Because, there's a lot of things that claim HDR compatibility because they can take an HDR10 signal and it can receive it. That doesn't make it a true HDR projector. And this one really, this is in its own class. It is really a different kind of product.
Yeah, 20 million to 1 contrast ratio.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let me, what is the source that's going to be providing? Is it also Kaleidoscape, or is it someone else?
Yeah, it'll be Kaleidoscape.
Okay. So Kaleidoscape's not here. So let's go to the next part of the signal chain for video, which would be Mad VR.
Yeah, no pressure, Joey. No pressure.
Yeah. So the cool thing is that a lot of Christie projectors have a Mad VR associated with them in their installs around the globe. So that is, we love that partnership. Like Chris and Larry were talking about, the projector and the screen combination is capable of painting this beautiful picture. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that all those pixels that are going to that projector are perfect when it gets there. We are known for our innovative first features that we bring. And in SR7, Larry mentioned that the projector is capable of doing 4K 120. Well, with our Motion AI feature, it's in the extreme that you see there. We're capable of creating 4K 120 for that projector if we want to do that. Chris had mentioned about the screen could probably do 300 and 500 nits capable. So we're looking at all of that content that's coming in with our patented HDR dynamic tone mapping and making sure that all those pixels are perfect that we're handing off to that Christie projector, so to make sure it's getting good stuff to paint on that picture. The other piece of the puzzle that's really cool, Chris talked about the aspect ratio control ability of the masking control of the screen. So the NVs are capable of control. We've able to do masking control. We're able to do for if a client didn't want or couldn't afford in his budget a smart control system, we're actually able to control displays and AVRs and AVPs, like the storm processors in there. And in this one, we're doing the masking control for the features that Chris was talking about raising the screen and lowering the screen and taking care. We're doing multiple aspect ratio content demos throughout, and we're going to be able to handle the control of all of that.
So are you going to be featuring the MV Extreme in this particular?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
And I do have one question that I wanted to clear up. It was on a previous show that we were talking about. Can the Mad VR, can it take like a Dolby Vision? You know how Kaleidoscape, the Strato V now can play Dolby Vision. Can it take the Dolby Vision signal and then convert it?
Yes, there's HDR10, HDR10 plus, HLG, LLDV, Dolby Vision, all of it. We can take and process all of that and hand it off to the display. Yes.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So with the Christie, does obviously, when somebody's spending this kind of money on a projector, they're going to want the ultimate that they can get. But does the Christie itself, does that have its own tone mapping and stuff already pre-built in?
Well, we have industry standard compatibility, and we do have a very linear performance, but having a device like the MV Extreme is really essential because the media, in the DCI world, the media is always baked a certain way. In the world of non-DCI, there are no standards that are really consistent, and that's why the Mad VR is the perfect device to put in front of this, because it really does those subtle processing just to make sure everything comes in correctly. If you have a video server that has had media that's created for this, that works the way it's supposed to. But if you have a variety of different content that you're showing, which is what is typically done in these environments, that's where having that type of device, the Mad VR product is just making the projector look fantastic, look the way it's supposed to look, because the media is now correctly tone mapped for all the different types of things that are coming into it.
Yeah.
And that's what it does exceedingly well.
Yeah. And for clients, the guys that are out watching this, even if you have a K-scape, I have K-scape, and some of the K-scape movies I have are HD movies. So all of our products are capable of upscaling to 4K, and the Extreme can do 5K and 8K.
Yeah, so I brought this up a little late, but Gary was sharing the render, the 3D render of the Christie.
This is the outside of the room. So you're seeing, you're seeing the graphic wrap that'll actually have all of the names of the partners on it.
Okay.
What I want to do now is we'll just go into the room now. So here's what the room is going to look like. So as you can see, Chris's screen stretches pretty much wall to wall. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on the screen channels so you can see this a little bit. You can see behind the screen there's a stack of eight 18-inch subwoofers, 4 on each corner. There's also the new Ascendo Halo speakers. These are an interesting, a very unique design, very high output point source, phase coherent, just like all of the other speakers. So this is the new product for them. So again, that's your front channels. As you can see, we've got, again, on the audio side, all of the side channels, front wides, L1, L2, L0, and then we come to the back of the room, and this is where things get crazy. And And again, go back to the original comment. Now, we're going to do something smaller. Okay, this is two of the Ascendo V64-inch infrasonic subwoofers.
Wow.
This is
Not
the
one, but two.
not one, but two. That's correct.
We're gonna do something smaller, and he talks about 64.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So one thing to say here is, although I will tell you, infrasonics have been displayed and played at CEDIA before, but nothing on this size. Okay, so that when I say that, when we talk about the projection being the eclipse and pushing the envelopes of what the art form can do, and how the MAD VR plays into that, and how the screen plays into that, we've also done the same thing on the audio chain. Okay, so this is, we expect this room to be flat, with a little luck into some single digits. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
So not only will you be getting content that is, from 20 hertz on up that everybody knows, but we're going to be doing a lot of content that's way below that. And in fact, one of the things to mention is we're literally analyzing the content and actually coming up with the scenes that actually have the bass in this area. And by the way, you'd be surprised how often the movies have this kind of stuff and are able to support this kind of speaker.
So the seats that we're looking at here, just so you guys know, Movia is a German seating manufacturer that's going to be providing these seats featuring 3 rows. It's the luxury Marlabella sofa model in Italian wool with walnut trim. So those look fantastic. I love the look of those. I'm a modern type of person. I live in South Florida. That's all we do is modern. So I really, really love those seats. They look fantastic.
We'll let you get away with just saying that about Florida, but that's
I love those. Those are very nice.
That's amazing.
So I think this would allow us to segue into Storm Audio, right?
Well, let's finish. Let's finish.
Oh, you want to
that
finish the
story.
room?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, let's finish.
Yeah, I think I stole some of Joey's thunder. And I don't want to do that.
Let's let Joey finish up. So go back to.
Yep. Let's take this out.
So Joey, any other let's talk about what you I think last year you guys, was it last year you came out with the core?
It was, yeah. That was a year and 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Huh. So
Yeah.
I was pretty good on my timeline there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, and just to comment about, I have one more about SR7, but just to comment
Sure.
about the core. We are in a $1 million plus demo room here, and I am a huge enthusiast for all this stuff. This is why I'm in the business, because I'm such a huge enthusiast, and I dream about this stuff, but I can never afford this stuff. But the thing that with us, with the indies, is that the core, you could have a 85-inch flat screen TV, and we see this all the time. You could have an 85-inch flat screen TV, an inexpensive AVR, nice, maybe a 5 or 7.1.2 or something, surround sound system, and include an NV core in it, and grand total be less than $15,000. So there's opportunities for any enthusiast with whatever budget they have, from the $1 million private cinemas to more budget friendly stuff. So that the core really has answered, and it has been just a huge global success, and we're super grateful to all the enthusiasts that are out there who have supported us through this.
Joey, did you mention your new auto masking feature? I don't know if I was refilling my wine at the time, but did you mention your new auto masking that we're going to be showing off at the show?
I did, and
Okay.
so we're doing it for the so thank you, Chris. We're doing it on the screen that's in there. We're going to be at the control of that masking movement that Chris was talking about at the beginning. In fact, at Chris's demo station, he's got this little demo board that's got going nuts with different aspect ratios nonstop.
Oh, I got you doing this
Yeah,
now.
and
Yeah.
they're running-
There you go. But that plays to your value statement, Joey. Is that you guys are getting around needing some third-party automation control, and you're able to control our masking screen directly.
So this exactly. So these more budget-friendly projects that maybe the guy can't afford the smart control system, we're able to control. It's like over 50 different like displays and AVRs that we can control. And the Storm, Gary's right here, so the Storm is one of them that we have the feature to. The other thing that I wanted to mention real quick is Larry had mentioned about Chris had mentioned about the color scope of the crispy that's able to reproduce, and I'm like they said, I don't think most people have ever seen that capability in a display before. So it's going to be really mind blowing for them to see that. But one of the things when the display is calibrated, it will be calibrated through the Envy. We have the largest 1D and 3D LUTs in the industry, so you can really dial those things out. We have front end, back end LUTs where this is unique for us, that we're able to provide this to the calibrator when they come in to do.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. So let's switch over to the audio portion. So we talked about that. We talked about Ascendo. Gary kind of helped them out because they were unable to attend tonight. But they will be debuting their new Halo speaker, which is very unique. I mean, I saw some pictures of this speaker. It's round with a bunch of little speakers, and I wouldn't say little. They're probably what, 6 or 8 inch drivers for each one of those.
Again, I can't comment on that piece. I'm not intimate enough. This is a product that they kept very secret. Yeah, they kept it very secret until about a month ago. So, but to your point, yes, it has. It's basically a very unique design. There's a term that's used with the microphone world called cardioid, and that's what this is. This is as far as a speaker type, which is very unique. So, should be pretty amazing in the speaker. But you're right, this is a brand new model for them.
I'm just going to share their screen, share something from another publication.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the from Audio Express, their Halo, the Halo that's going behind the Seymour screen there.
Wow, that looks.
So it does say 6 8-inch woofers.
Okay, so it's angled. Okay, I was wondering how they were getting by with the. Okay, some of the.
I mean, we got to have a retractable screen so you can look at it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Dang. Wild. So it's okay. So we waveguide. We've got the angles to keep any
comb filtering
or comb filtering from happening.
Okay. Yeah, 6 8 woofers. That's impressive.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people are still stuck on our old technology, back in the 70s, where we didn't quite understand everything about audio, and we just, you got to have the biggest driver for mid-range and bass, and it's like that. No, we were wrong. We have learned so much more. It's more about energy and moving that energy and that wave and controlling it at the same time. But that adds a lot of complexity, which is probably why those are not cheap, because you get to a certain point. Because like I say very simplistically, it's like the best speaker is one single driver, right? But now, how many people need to listen to that one driver? And okay, well, you need to get louder. You need to start delivering different, frequencies and powers to each one of those drivers, So it gets really complex, and that looks very complex, but I can't wait to hear it and check that out. That's pretty wild.
So these are the two 64-inch subs that Gary showed us in the. So I really feel like I'm in Back to the Future now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I already know I'm sitting in front. There's no way I'm sitting back there.
Yeah, those are crazy.
Well, these are going to provide your infrasonic, so you're not even going to hear these. You're just going to feel
You're
them.
gonna
You're just gonna
feel,
feel.
you're gonna feel the heck out of those. So no bass shakers, no
You're not
crosons.
264s. You really need
Yeah,
bass
I
shakers?
was gonna say I don't think you need any of that. Jesus Christ.
Oh man! All right, so let's go ahead and move to the end or beginning of the signal chain for audio, which would be Gary with Storm Audio.
Yeah. So let me talk about what we're using. We're going to be using our Elite Mark III processor in here. This is going to be a hybrid system, meaning that half of the system will be fed with analog signals. The other half will be fed over audio over IP or AES67 Dante to the Sendo amplifiers. So basically, again, half of it's digital and half of it's analog, but all of it is aligned where, again, through our system where you can do this. We introduced, audio over IP 4 years ago to our products, and we have won now 2 awards for the products that actually have that built in. So we're definitely, I would consider ourselves one of the big experts on AES67 and Dante these days. So again, this is going to show not only, again, a hybrid, mixed system. So the amplifiers on the analog side will be our amplifiers. So we're using our PA8 amplifiers, and that'll be feeding some of the bed layer channels. We'll be using Ascendo amps that will feed a majority of the system, including the big 64s. By the way, those have very large amplifiers each. And again, Chris talked about the electrical we purchased for this. Let me just save this. They'll have to run a trunk line just for our room from the other side of the convention center. Okay, so again, we'll literally suck all the energy out of one of the lines. Okay, so in addition to that, the system is going to be calibrated, video and audio. I'll let the video guys talk about the video calibration, but on the audio side, Ascendo and Matt Trinkline from our side will be working together for the calibration. We'll be using a combination of manual calibration tools and also Dirac Live, Dirac Bass Control, and Dirac Active Room Treatment. So all of that will be,
yes,
yeah, that's correct. So this will be a full art system, and should show really, the levels that art can do, especially when it comes to control of infrasonics. That's another big thing that we want to really showcase here.
So for the subs, am I correct in showing the correct processor here? Is this the correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
So this one says the let's see, the ISP Elite, right? So it says it's 32 channels, but the channel layout is 14 by 18 by 10.
14, yes. How are we doing that? So first off, the kick subs, there are 16 18-inch subwoofers. They're going to be driven by single channels to each of the corners of the room. So we'll be running those basically as an array. All right.
Okay.
In addition, the 2 infrasonic subs will be, I believe, separate channels. So again, we're going to be running basically 6 channels to the subwoofer system, 6 output channels. Now that will be a mixture of digital and analog, though. So again, just want to stress those things. But bottom line is the system. Our new ADEC board is able to discreetly decode more than 32 channels, but we're going to be pushing it to the limit on the system, as you're saying.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. So looking forward to definitely seeing how this is laid out. So the subwoofers that you spoke about, I guess they'll be like daisy chained together, correct? Or
we don't daisy chain them. Basically, we're going to feed a single digital signal to an amp. Again, think of it in these terms. Once you're on the digital audio over IP area deployment, you can basically assign a channel to be fed to an amplifier. Let's say one channel, and then that amplifier could feed four different subs. So again, and all of them would be able to be aligned uniquely through the amplifier itself.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right.
Yeah.
So and Go ahead. I'm
Right.
sorry. No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, I mean, that's tells you about the audio system. The last thing I wanted to mention is, we're not seeing the room acoustics in here, and that's another big player when it comes to the audio portion.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the room, it's a lot of getting the layout perfect. Making sure that we've done the base analysis for the space to know how the subs are going to interact with the room. But at the end of the day, these are, I don't want to say that they're cardboard boxes, but they're not much thicker than that. Okay. And so, there's a big need for acoustic, passive acoustics. One thing to say is, a lot of people say active room treatment. Doesn't that do away with passive acoustic treatments? It can, but it's always best to follow best practices, and having proper acoustic treatments, passive ones, is the right way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all agree on that. It's like, you gotta have a good foundation. It doesn't matter how good the house is built. It's like, well, it's gonna blow the way.
That's a fantastic segue into Matt.
I think my work is done here.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Gary.
No problem.
What's wild about this room, I am the small player in a bunch of thoroughbreds, so it's been fun to just listen to all these conversations, because it is true thoroughbreds in this room. What's wild about these cardboard boxes that Gary was talking about is that they've unfortunately lined them with 3/8 of an inch of polyester absorber. So we now have a notch filter of a room. So like we always try to do is, what is the specifics of the room? Let's try to go back to zero. Let's take the room out of it as much as we can physically, and then let the processors do all their magic. So the faster that we can get to the room to zero, which is near impossible because of physics, thank you, the better. So in this case, we are deploying all kinds of diffusion materials to try to actually liven up what that polyester lining inside of these rooms has done. So normally in a lot of rooms, we're very base management active, but in this one, it's really like, let's just feature diffusion materials that'll bring life back to the room. So there's two different styles. It's a hard, just a three-dimensional diffuser, but our big new product, which will be on sidewalls within this room, is a binary amplitude diffuser. And what that is if people aren't familiar with it, it's using absorption to create diffusion. So you can do that in a true three-dimensional diffuser. Sometimes you need 6-8 inches of room. Well, just with a simple 2-inch deep panel, you can actually create some even diffusion style. So what it is a hole pattern that actually, it's a binary amplitude pattern that uses absorption. In certain areas, certain frequencies are absorbed, certain are reflected. It's a combination of absorption and reflection. In different areas, you have a different combination of absorption and reflection. So our new binary amplitude, our testing has found that it's way more effective at off-angle response, which is when you think of a theater, pretty much every speaker is at an off angle. So we just tried to be more effective with that. And it's a combination of the size of the hole and the layout of that pattern. So, and you can see if you look at that white room with the red couch, that is a binary amplitude style of pattern. That's exactly what we're talking about. So we'll be putting that in this room. But because of the cardboard nature of it, there isn't a whole lot of deep base management that we'll be using here, because most of it is leaving this room.
That is true.
Yeah. So, yeah. But it's been awesome to just be a part of this. So yeah.
So that brings up a question.
Yeah.
Which I get from going to these shows. I've been to Expona, I've been to the Florida audio show, I've been to M-Wave. Is there going to be a limit to what you can push these to? Is CEDIA going to put the governor on, so to speak? Are they going to allow you guys to go at it?
Boy, if you're talking about the sound side of things, I'm just letting you know that we're not going to hold anything back. Now, we don't we don't want. Let me just put it this way: we don't want to give everybody a haircut or change your body, completely, things inside you. But we're going to run it at proper levels, okay? And that's one thing I'll tell you. We pay a lot of attention, and Chris can attest to this. Chris and I have done, I think, 10 theaters now for CEDIA over the years, different manufacturers that I've been with. And it's all about that. You have to weave a nice experience in your demos. Okay. Yeah. And we really pay attention to that. And really, we want to have the demo be a building experience emotionally. And then when people leave the demo, we're going to knock their socks off. I mean, we're literally going to, I hate to say it. Let me just say it this way. We're going to punch you in the gut. Okay. It's that tactile. So it's really like you're going to feel things that you haven't heard before. And, the other thing that we've chosen to do is we're going to play some content that is new, but we're going to play some content that you've heard before. Mm-hmm. And when you hear it with the infrasonics, you're literally going to go, okay, that just changed. Mm-hmm. Like literally the experience changed. And when it comes at the end of the day, when we walk in these rooms, and if they're really designed nicely, you're not supposed to. You don't see the speakers, you don't see the projector. Right. You're just in the movie, and you're living this experience and having an emotional response. That is the reason that we go and do this. That's why we're all here. It's what we love.
We've had reports actually in the past demonstrations we've had with Gary and Todd, is that we've been called well curated. So these curated demos, we're going to try it. That's our motto, is that we would look for an emotional arc, an audio arc, and a video arc. But then overall is that we're going to leave you with audio dynamics you've never heard before and video dynamics you've never seen before. That's it, but in an emotional package, and that's what we're putting together.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I think one more player that is going to be in SR7 we don't want to forget will be Paragons. We're not able to make it to the show, but it looks like they will be presenting a flagship Alpha Pro anamorphic lens.
So they're bringing a lens that brings like all of their technology together, where traditional anamorphic lenses have introduced kind of a geometric distortions, which you get the benefits of anamorphic lens with, and you're having increased brightness. You're using your entire panel. Then whether it's an expansion or compression lens, you're using your entire panel now on this scope image. But what Panamorphic is bringing with their new lens, as I understand it, and this is where I'm here to learn as a student too, because I love selling these new products as well. Just as a home theater geek, I get excited. But I believe that they're, as I understand it, they're doing both in a way that like this geometric distortion is just canceled out. It's a perfect expansion of what then the 16:9 panel can do in a scope width. So we're going to get a brightness boost. Not that Christy needs it, but we're going to like I said, we're pushing these envelopes into like where we're going to be demonstrating an art kind of in a more dynamic fashion than anybody's experienced before. So I think Panamorph is a key player in
so your screen is fireproof, because it sounds like someone's taking a magnifying glass. It's like, hey, let's see how bright we can make this.
And I also have a Panamorph too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, this is this is $1 million room, man.
Yeah,
wow. 1.3 million.
Over $1 million. Yeah,
wow. But there's a show discount if you pack it up and you carry it out yourself.
The 400-pound projector.
Yeah, load it in your car.
I will rent a U-Haul if the price is right.
Yeah, we're gonna sharpen the pencil a little bit.
So Matt, real quick, because I'm not familiar with your brands, but your acoustic panels, do you sell direct to consumer, or are you strictly dealer?
We are strictly dealer, but a lot of some dealers do have an online presence, so that is available. But yeah, we are strictly a dealer network. Yep.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I need to talk to you after the show because I'm looking for 2 to 3 inch diffusion to put behind my fabric wall. So we need to talk.
Let's chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don
Don is in the
always-
process of
yeah.
building his home theater for the
All
last
right,
5
no
years.
jokes.
Okay,
We,
no jokes.
you guys should come by. We're really close to the room. We're actually right behind Christy right there. So we're really close to the sound room, S7. And we do feature the only 3-dimensional star field. I was able to come up with that about 10 years ago. So that's a pretty wild thing. So
Gosh.
come on by and check that out.
I got to bring my checkbook now because
I know.
I want a star ceiling also. So
I told
Yeah,
you, Don,
when you do
Don's
this one, you'll be
never
fired
gonna
up.
finish.
Don is never gonna
finish
finish.
his theater. He's gonna keep looking at new additions. It's
He's
like,
gonna break
Don-
down the wall so
First
he
of
can
all,
put
cool.
so he can
star-
put the new Christie in there too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that'll be taking over the dining room area or the pre-theater area.
Look, he's already thinking about it.
And Don, you don't need a checkbook. We take Apple Pay. We take Cash App. It's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
hook
You
up.
don't need to bring anything. Yeah, exactly. You can tap to pay.
That is true. That's just showing my age there. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this is SR7. We definitely appreciate all of you guys joining us this evening. Some of you guys are actually, I think all of you guys are new to the show, but you guys are always welcome back. You know, we'd love to have you on to individually to talk about your products individually and maybe some stuff that might be coming out or, you know, stuff that you guys are working on. So one thing that we always do is we do home theater tours on this channel, right? We're not going to ask any of you to do a home theater tour tonight, but if you do have a home theater, tell us about what your home theater is. Gary, do you have a home theater?
I do. I've got to. I've worked at a few speaker companies, and one of my previous gigs was with Wisdom Audio. So I have a Wisdom system in my theater with line source fronts.
Very nice.
So-
And what's the layout?
Right now it's a small layout. Because I have a great living room. It's my only space that I can do a theater. So it's really a 5.2 system. It's no Atmos right now. So
Well, look, we feature everyone that enjoys their theater, whether it be down to a sound bar and, you know, maybe a couple back speakers, whatever people enjoy, we enjoy, right? So we just want people to participate in this hobby. So, you know, don't say it's just Wisdom Audio because, you know,
Just wisdom.
yeah,
There's a lot of wisdom in there.
no, there is.
So Larry, how about you, sir?
Well, I wish I had an Eclipse, but no, I would not be married to my wife if we did. They're a little outside my price range, but I have a 9.1.2 Atmos system with a nice OLED display, and it's in my living room / in the corner setup with a nice surround about 20 feet back, and it's reasonable. It's not anything like SR7, but it is. It works for my wife and I and her family.
You got to hit that Powerball to get that Christie, right? What's it up to 980 million now?
And also have a house that will physically take it. So yeah.
But with 980, I don't think you'll have a problem
All
finding
right.
one.
Well,
of those.
I could work my way in. Yes. So.
How about you, Matt? You have a home theater system?
I actually am right in the middle of finishing off my home theater. It's getting really close.
When did you start it?
Don't start, Paul.
I started 2 years ago.
Oh, look, he's not as far as I am, but
Don's got it for 5 years now.
The wild part, it's a 7.2.4, but
Awesome.
I've been in the industry a while, so like Gary, I leaned on a bunch of my friends to deliver product that I've done favors for throughout the years. So, I'm hosting Thanksgiving, so I have a deadline.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. See, that's what we need to have. Don needs to host a live home theater hub movie premiere. That'll get him to finish.
The problem is that I'm able to watch movies now, so it's like I'm not too excited about. Only thing I have left to do is put acoustics and fabric wall up and LEDs. if I want to do the star ceiling, I have to do that also. But I'm able to watch movies now, so that's much more fun than than actually building and constructing. So.
Yeah.
How about you, Joey? I know you got a theater. I've seen yours all over Facebook and YouTube and everything else.
No, you haven't either. I have a really nice 7.1 media room, and I'm about 60% completed with my home theater. It'll be on 11.5.8.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, look, we really appreciate all of you joining us. Like I said,
Yeah.
we look forward to seeing you at CEDIA. We'll be coming around to the press events and also hopefully we can catch up with all of you guys to do a little interview while we're out there. But I really appreciate you taking your time this evening to join us on our little channel that we have here. So we're on 91 episodes and continue to grow every single week. So you guys are a big part of what we do. We talk about gear, we talk about home theaters. So we thank you for joining us this evening.
Yep.
Grateful to be here. I watch your episodes. So
I've learned more in the last couple hours than the last 90 episodes.
Wow.
You have been canceled, Paul. You've been voted off the island.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah. Well, we know it's about to be a busy week for you guys and traveling and set up and tear down. Let us know. We'll be there to help out the best way that we can.
Yeah.
I think we're all flying in on Wednesday, right? But you guys will probably be there much earlier than Wednesday, but we should be there Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we already have people on the ground in Denver already.
Oh wow!
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that.
so
I leave
it's-
tomorrow.
yeah,
I leave Saturday morning, so it's a big lift. I think Chris and I are both gonna at the end of this. We have a tradition, and I'm really looking forward to it. We do a little belt of whiskey at the end once everything's finished and taken apart. Looking forward to that whiskey. That's going to be a lot of work to get there.
I will not be able to help Seymour break down their gigantic masking screen this year because I'm driving. I'm not local, so I'll be leaving mid Saturday morning. So
yeah, I think you helped
But that
them
was
at
fun.
Amway, right?
You guys are fun to hang out with. I was like, I don't even remember who bought the last drink.
You've helped before, Paul, so we've got whiskey for you too, buddy.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
All right, everyone. Thank you again. This is Sound Room number 7. Look forward to stopping by the booth, probably be multiple times as long as the line's not out the door, right?
Set a limit for Don. He likes to do demos like 700 times. He's gonna be changing the shirt so you can get on the line.
Well, Joey will be our gatekeeper, so we'll see if he lets you in again.
Oh, okay. I admit one, right? That's
right.
He likes a little of the lubrication. Let me tell you.
I was going somewhere else with that, but all right, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you again so much. Look forward to seeing all of you guys at CEDIA. Once again, if you guys want to hang on for just a second, we're going to end the stream. But thanks again.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.